Okay, continuing with part two. Um, and then there was this vacuum where nothing had happened and nothing had stopped what had happened. So what now? And then the next level of revelations hit with the flat Earth thing. And previously, when someone had asked me about flat Earth, I had commented that this is stupid, only idiots believe in that. And it turned out, and I not only saw proof, but I even bought a camera, p.900, and checked it out for myself. We are not living on a spinning ball in a vast universe in space. That's all fake. It doesn't exist. And so the boats don't go over the horizon. There's no curvature whatsoever. And we are not moving. And this is just common sense. So I don't want to bring out the facts of that. And just that this was another level of waking up. Oh my god, I had believed this whole crap about the universe and all this alien stuff, and everything was a lie. And when you realize that everything you had believed or wanted to believe was fake, and so you had been fake, I had been fake, and then what? What are you left with? And the funny thing is, while I was on my bike, I was thinking, what happens when they really bring in forced vaccinations, and if you don't comply, you are being, imprisoned or whatever. And suddenly there was this quote, if you will, if you want to call it that, from the Buddha that ran through my head 3 or 4 times. The widespread insanity of I making, me making, mine making. And it's something that I had taught in as a Buddhist teacher in the temple. And suddenly this deep calm came over me on the bike, and I was just, I realized in how much tension I had been living over those fears and those worries, and this not understanding of the bigger picture. And this was the beginning of a deepening of my search or my quest for truth. And a few weeks later, I discovered human design, and it's even in my design that I go only to the deepest levels of anything. So even with Buddhism, I had only studied the scriptures of the oldest tradition, the most original scriptures that you can discover. And with human design, the same thing. I immediately realized, well, it's only the guy who brought it, Ra Uruhu, Krakauer was his last name, a Canadian, because everyone else was just distilling it and falsifying it even. And that intensified when I realized how much had been falsified already by other people in an attempt to be original. So anyway, and to make a long story short, and talking like that, I realized, oh, this is also, I can really feel the mind going through a database of words and expressions it has learned. Isn't that weird? And this is so revelatory when you understand it. And it's actually one of the cruxes to awakening. to realize that none of your thoughts are yours. And to make a long story short, there were so many revelations coming to me through listening to this guy and reading his lectures about the nature of this program, this matrix. And when I started to talk about this online and to compare these new findings with what all those people were talking about that I had connected to online when I was the homogenized and boring second-hand believer like everyone else. When I started talking about this on Facebook, I got less and less traffic, less and less reactions, and less and less friends, so to speak. So turns out the matrix is something that even Buddha talked about, and he literally directly said it. And it is hidden in the scriptures, in these older scriptures especially, but also in these newer ones, or even more so in the newer ones. Like I won't even get into the names of these traditions. But he literally said, you have to pay radical attention to how the matrix operates. When you see the matrix, this is how you can transcend it, how you can let go. And the human design guy, Raoul, used to make a lot of fun of Buddha. And when he went through his own teaching process after 15 years or more, he finally said in one lecture, Buddha was right. It's Buddha's dream, but Ra's way, his way, when you discover how things work and what it means to wake up, how to get back to the original frequency of the two crystals that are vibrating in this perceived body. The design crystal, that is the form that seems to live, and the personality crystal that hovers above us. And yeah, this is the whole construct is so crazy. And the thing is, how do you even talk about this making sense? All these ideas of surrender, all these ideas of non-attachment, of awakening through practice, they were only theoretical wet dreams of spiritual seekers. But through human design, you have a detailed map uniquely for everyone how to get there. And certain people in their design, they have the activations to see every single little detail of what's happening in the program. They see it in the chart, they see it in the transits. Like when certain planets are on certain gates, this activates certain things, how people speak, how people feel, when they feel betrayed, when they feel angry, and all this, the smallest, tiniest details. And it's in my design as well to see these things. And there was this TV show called Westworld, and in I think in the pilot or in one of the first few episodes, there was a scene where you saw the rich people going in there in this simulation, letting out their angers and the steam, and they shoot things up and people up, and then suddenly there's a freeze in the frame, and everything stops, and in the background where you didn't see there was a door opened, and people came in and took out the robots for repairs. And then they repaired the shut up robots, and then they reactivated them, and in the next scene everything starts again, and they don't know that they are robots, and they have no memory what happened. So if you get what I'm talking about, you know why this is so significant and the relevance to what I was sharing. And if not, there's no point in me explaining it at this point. And the funny thing is, people always wonder, how can it be that astrology is so correct, that the planets influence us if they are so far away in this vast universe? And the thing is, with the flat earth and the realization what the stars are, where they are, there is no universe, there is no space, they are right here in the system. And they are actually portals, energy portals, that are in energy exchange with these crystals, the form crystal and the personality crystal. And there's a stream of energy, neutrinos, that come from the sun, and there's this energy circuit between the sun, the earth surface, the oceans, and the moon. That's why sunlight is hot and moonlight is cold. That's why we have this flow of seeming gravity downwards, and why fluids and other things are being lifted up when we have a full moon. And it has nothing to do with gravity and nothing to do with the tides, it's just the cathode and the anode. And this is not the whole picture, but is to keep it simple. And there's a constant stream of energy, and this is not just energy, it's a programming force. It's like the software. And there's a constant update on our software through these imprints. And when we are born, and 88 days before we are born, there are certain standardized imprints that stay with the seeming character in this matrix as long as this life lasts. So this is so nuts and so crazy, that all these mind-boggling spiritual truths, like in the matrix there is no spoon. It's actually true. What is so normal, what everyone does, is actually a mental sickness. It's insanity to believe, first of all, that you exist, that anything is personal. Secondly, to believe that there is a world out there that you are perceiving. So this whole duality between the observer and an observed reality or object is the whole entrapment mechanism. And once you see that, then you can let go. Once you see that, only when you see reality, is this ideal of surrender and non-attachment possible. Because it's all just a trick. It's all an illusion. And there were so many more things I will maybe share in the future if there are any questions. So yeah, the why is the world such a zoo? Why is the world such a zombie place? The dog is making noises down there because he's hearing me talk. Because everyone is insane. And on a highest level, thinking that there are other people who are insane is also insanity. Talk to you soon.